They're like, how come?
Hello, everybody. This is Preston Poulter, joined by, as always, Larry and John. And
Hello.
it seems like no Danny this week.
Oh.
There's
well, we are a couple minutes early.
We are.
Or does he usually about 5 minutes early?
He could come in. He might, and that would always be welcome. But anyway, the discussion was the market for the Demonatrix on Kickstarter, and I thought this was interesting. So go ahead.
Continue. So I was saying was, so you were talking about like whether or not the 3D would be accepted or not. So I have heard some people talking about like why is he doing it with this 3D or whatever, and some people are a little turned off by that. But yeah.
I am aware of that. I know I'm fighting I'm fighting an uphill battle here, and but it was more out of it's something that I can do. I enjoy doing it, so I'm going to do it. Whether or not other people like it or not, that's on them.
Yeah.
But this is something that when I'm working on this book, I'm not bored.
That's a good thing.
I've never done an activity that I can do for hours on end without break and not get bored.
There you go.
So if I just need to figure out how I'm going to be able to market it and merchandise it.
Hello.
There he is.
There he is.
Hey.
No new writing from me this week because I am doing Kickstarter fulfillment.
Awesome.
But I am here to read, and I feel like John just won't be able to get Demonatrix right without some assistance.
Exactly.
Great.
You know, I was thinking, John.
Yes, sir.
In your Demonatrix script, you don't when you're given the art direction, you don't need to use such coarse language.
You don't
Sometimes
think so?
you use very coarse language, and I feel like the script. I can understand coarse dialogue, but this is art direction, and we don't need coarse art direction. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
You want me to tone down my writing?
I mean, perhaps maybe a tiny bit. I don't know.
I mean, I can.
Okay.
Originally it wasn't written. It wasn't written this way. It was
right. I understand. I'm just saying, as someone who's been taking heat for you for a little bit, I'm coming back with just a tiny little suggestion, and it was.
I most certainly can do that.
Okay.
It is written this way because I was encouraged by people in this writer stream to simply go all in and embrace it.
Yeah,
and that was what I've been doing.
Are you saying you took Moby's note?
Yes.
Okay, now that's not. That's not Moby's fault. That's your fault.
No, not Moby. It was Larry.
It was. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? Hold on.
That is why
I didn't know. I didn't understand. Okay, in the future, when people are like, "How come John is so coarse in his language?" I'm because Larry likes it that way, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Larry is the one who encouraged me to embrace it.
Okay.
So I have embraced it. And I made
now you're
him
writing for an audience of one.
That is why Larry narrates all of my scripts now.
Okay.
Because I am making him read the language that he encouraged me to do.
So this is kind of a love letter to Larry.
Yeah.
I like it.
But it is your stream, and I will honor your request.
I got it.
I will honor your request, and whatever I do in my art, I will keep it to an R rating. Whatever is in the no matter what I do in my art, I will keep the script to an R rating.
All right,
which was how it was originally written anyway.
Yeah. We got Mario Man. We got Mario Man. Let's go start with Mario Man.
Sure.
Okay.
Mario Man?
Oh, yeah, the guy in Japan. I'm unintentionally rhyming. I'm not even trying.
It's the
but you remember the person who was on
the one where like last week was like the middle of an action scene and we all finally agreed that was a good start to the story.
Yeah, exactly. And that happens to me like a fair amount. Like someone will come and they'll present pages.
Ooh, what's this? We got a new format too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, that's pretty good. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, this is book 2. Book 1, and you gotta. I'm like, well, I think you should make your book 2 your book 1.
Yeah.
It moves quickly. All right, so chromatic Betelgeuse algorithm test chapter
It's
by
pronounced
Mario.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
FYI.
I've heard YouTube videos that say
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice or Betelgeuse.
Yeah.
Because it's a translation of a mispronunciation of an Arabic word, so there's no real correct syntax on it, from what I've heard. But
fair enough.
Yeah. Because it's this massive.
Is it bad that I want to go look it up in OED now?
Oh,
no, go ahead. All right, so feel free.
Yeah.
I know. So it's the same format.
It looks different at the start, and I get excited. So.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we're gonna need a narrator. Who wants to do that?
I'll narrate.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yep.
There we go.
All narration.
Page 1, panel 1. The warehouse is a dingy, cold, and surrounded by worn-out scraps of broken electronics littering the floor. Johnny Onishi, who has a shot leg, starts to crawl towards several duffel bags filled with drugs. Johnny has frizzy, unkempt hair and has a silver and black battle armor with a riot helmet. Mitsuha, a 23-year-old Japanese woman with dark blue hair and purple highlights, jumps from above, sliding down the wall. She dons a dark blue and black battle armor and face shield combo with gloves, all topped with a black trench coat. Panel 3, she bounces off the wall toward Jericho, a dirty blonde-haired man wearing urban camo in his late 40s. He readies his magnum. Panel 4, these are very similar. Did he rewrite these, or were we supposed to start somewhere else?
Sadly, he is not here to guide us on that. I don't think. Hold on. Let me double check. I'm looking. It says pages 10 through 11. Oh, okay. Well, you see, that's a very good observation.
I thought something.
So page 10. Here we go. Page 10. All right.
Okay.
You said 10 to 11? That's only 2 pages.
No, 10. Sorry. Well, let me do it. Page 10 through 19. So
okay, cool.
Starting at page 10.
Page 10, panel 1. A squad car parks at the side of the building. No lights on at all. Panel 2, Nobuo, a 32-year-old Japanese man with shaggy hair and a bushy goatee, speaks into the squad car microphone. The squad car has its windows lowered.
I guess I'll be Nobuya. This is Skull to Beetle. I'm in the front, on the down low.
Open the back door. Gotta get Johnny out of here ASAP.
Panel 3, Nobuo slides out the car. Panel 4, close-up. Nobuo's hand pulls the back door open. Panel 5, Mitsuha, struggling, drags a very unconscious Johnny to the police car.
Don't die on me, damn it.
Page 11, panel 1, point of view, Nobuo's dashboard. Nobuo helps Mitsuha lift, grabbing Johnny by what's left of his legs.
And who's Nobuya? Is that?
I think that was you.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. What happened in there? His legs are blown out. Cigars.
Panel 2, Mitsuha shuffles Johnny in the back seat of the car.
Shit caught on fire.
Should I call for a fire?
Panel 3, Nobuo and Mitsuha slide into the front seats.
No time. Johnny needs.
Panel 4, her eyes get wide in horror.
Wonder why the panel said. I guess it's over. Okay, here we go.
Page 12, panel 1, Jericho, less disfigured and walking again, slowly heads for the car.
What the?
Drive.
Panel 2, Nobuo shifts the stick to drive. Panel 3, point of view, behind the car. The squad car speeds off. Page 13, panel 1. Squad car has its sirens on, racing down the highway, approaching a bustling megacity. The C-dash, a squad car computer, displays a map.
You'll arrive in approximately 1 minute and 47 seconds.
I don't mind cashing in favors, but I feel like I'm owed an explanation. Onision looking like his legs were chicken kebab.
He's dead, but not the guy.
Panel 2. Mitsuo and Nobuya both seem to be taken aback from the surreal image of Jericho.
He's basically a machine. Bullets didn't slow him down.
Is he augmented? Because that's got to be some black market grade stuff.
It's a swill of some kind. Made him spongier than most augmented folks.
Panel 3. Nobuya whips his head at her, face filled with disbelief.
This a one-off?
I wish. He said he's part of a handful who had this. Nothing more than that.
Can't imagine if this gets on the streets.
Destination approaching in 34 seconds.
Panel 4. The hospital's emergency drop-off comes into full view. It's surrounded by a few teenagers who look dazed and shifty-eyed. Panel 5. Close-up Mitsuo's face, sour as filled with guilt. Page 14, panel 1. Mitsuo sits in the hallway, slumped over in a waiting chair with fatigue. An announcement comes over the PA system.
4 hours later.
PA system.
Dr.
Nanagata needed an operating theater 3A.
Yeah.
Panel 2. Nobuya comes from the side with a few papers in his arms. Mitsuo looks in his direction.
So...
It ain't pretty. It's gonna be at least 4 months for it to heal up. The leg, I mean. Burns, add another 2.
Panel 3. Mitsuo buries her head in her lap, hair drooping.
And while he might need a wheelchair for a while...
he is going to live, right?
I would have told you if he was terminal.
Panel 4. Close-up. Mitsuo's somber face.
Do you think he'll hate me?
Panel 5. Nobuya gets a puzzled look on his face.
The hell makes you say that?
If he says ruined his life, I won't blame him.
Page 15, panel 1. There is an oval briefing table with wheeled chairs in the room alongside a large display screen. Mitsuo Nobuya, Man Chow, a 26-year-old Taiwanese man that's clean cut with a comb over, are sitting in the chairs surrounded the desk, tired.
And that's all we found out about this drug threat. I do plan on following Jericho to see who the supplier is.
Panel 2. On the large display screen, Dr. Maji, a 50-year-old Japanese man with a Mishima Tekken haircut, wearing a suit, puts down his coffee mug.
It seems we do have a lead now. You and Nobuya will be on the case, as you two were on the scene. Chiyu will be replacing Onishi, as he's in the hospital.
Panel 3. Mitsuo's face fills with a nervous look.
Shouldn't we keep this small scale until we have more information?
This is small scale. The 3 of you. If the threat looms bigger or more information is retrieved, we will increase the scale accordingly.
Panel 4. Chiyu fumbles in his pocket for a G-Sig.
On that note, we shall reconvene at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Today. Point is, it's late as hell and we're all tired.
Page 16, panel 1. The 3 of them are sitting there as the monitor shuts off. Chiyu takes a puff off his cigarette.
I'll be expecting you.
Panel 2, same shot. Mitsuo turns her head to Nobuya.
Need a ride home?
Drop me off at his place. It's closer.
If you say so.
Page 17, panel 1. Mitsuo is entering an apartment behind a Dave Matoshi. Doors still open. Dave is a 25-year-old, pale, strawberry blonde guy wearing a tank top and cargo pants.
I don't mind you spending the night. Just give a heads up.
I remember what happened last time.
Trust me, living here gives me a constant reminder.
Panel 2, close up. She closes the door, revealing a pair of scorch marks on the wall.
Work was hell again, wasn't it?
More than you know. Is it that obvious?
Panel 3, Dave turns around to face her, arms out. Panel 4, he holds her tightly. Panel 5, close up. Mitsuha is very tired, eyes drooping. Page 18, panel 1. Mitsuha and Dave are in bed, both in the sheets with tank tops on. She holds on to him, weary, droopy-eyed, and unable to sleep, while Dave is passed out comfortably.
Can't imagine if this gets on the sheets.
Streets.
my version was way more exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
All right?
Your version was definitely
It was,
more
but I had no
exciting.
idea what you were talking about.
I mean, to be fair, if they're in a bedroom and it gets on the streets, that's still
Yeah.
pretty exciting.
Exactly.
Page 19, panel 1, top left page. Teenagers, same designs as page 20, chug down the swill. Panel 2, top right page. They all fill with rage and energy. Panel 3, the rest of the page. Teenagers fight each other, bruised, bleeding, and bits of bone showing. Jericho, a floating head holding one of the vial of swill. Last in the background, they are surrounded by a destroyed cityscape.
You better fight like you mean it if you want more. Ha 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 ha. And that's it.
Cool.
Well, we got some sci-fi action, violence, an almost kind of sex scene. I want to say there was a certain
Implied,
level of,
yeah.
of physical intimacy, and we had some interesting dialogue. We had a plead for not being held responsible for the life in which I believe that was the father had placed his son. So, you know, I felt it had some strong points. It definitely went over a lot in 10 pages.
Yep.
I feel like you're taking to heart a lot of what we've been saying in previous submissions about stakes and emotional connections between the characters. I think that, you know, we kind of set up like saving her comrade, and by doing so, has released the drug onto the street, and now she's dealing with that on an emotional level. So I think that's some strong story points that you'll have to explore, and I think that's a good way to go with that.
So I feel like this actually does follow directly from the stuff we read last week, and if that is the case, way to go, because that works. If that random sushi asshole, and I think he does show up, he's that Dave guy, or like whatever was happening at the warehouse previously is somehow involved in this version of the script, it's way less efficient. And what we have here is a really good transition from an action scene to an ongoing story based on the consequences of that action scene. And I think that's a really strong opening to a noir.
Has everybody gone, Larry or Skinny?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, you know, the stakes seemed a little bit higher, and it was good that the characters kind of looking at their buddy who got like really fucked up. I like seeing stuff like that because that makes the characters a lot more human as opposed to, you know, just no stakes, nothing's. And it had a really good flow. I liked all the action. I think it could use a little bit more dialogue though, just a smidge. There's a lot of blank panels.
It's a little hard to follow too with the character names and stuff, I guess. It would probably make more sense in the visual, but yeah.
I mean, certainly having a visual to look at helps in distinguishing a character.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with, you know, non-cultural names.
Yeah.
You're like, which version of words and consonants that I don't understand is that character? So yeah, that can get muddled at times. So that happens with me.
I mean, like I'm used to Japanese names and stuff, but even I was having a hard time when they were bouncing between the two characters because They didn't really have a very distinct voice at one point during the action scene. I guess maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
To me, I guess we're on with constructive now. I sometimes feel like the stories are a bit disjointed.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I got that too.
Yeah, I feel like there's some connecting tissue missing between the stuff we read last week and then the car showing up and Johnny leaving. Presumably, there was an edit to kill Johnny's legs from the beginning, so we just didn't read that. But like. And then where did Jericho come from in like some weird vision thing? That was confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm having a hard time keeping track of who I'm supposed to be cheering for and who I'm supposed to be rooting against. You know.
I think I was going to comment on, and this might be a nitpick, but for me, but the formatting of the script feels a little weird. I don't entirely understand the art direction in all of the panels. And I found that a little confusing at times to know exactly what is going to be on the panel. It kind of felt like it was written in a different format, and then you just kind of broke it up into these Excel table that without any actual thought of what the panels should look like. It didn't read to me like a panel. I mean, it was just a little weird to me. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I think I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
But I think that might be part of the reason why we're having a little bit of trouble following it in the script, is just because the way it's formatted. So that was really the only thing I could say constructive would be to maybe look at how you're formatting your panels and try to focus on making them a little bit more clear in how the narrative is progressing.
I think the motion was missing, really. Like, it would go like they hopped in the car, but it doesn't say, like, you know, they move around the car, pushing the guy into the passenger side or something like that. You know,
like
you're not really getting the whole visual.
One panel says they slide into the back seat. Well, what does that look like? Like in a movie, you can say so-and-so slides into the back seat. But in a comic book, tell me what I'm actually seeing. Am I seeing the person just sitting in the back seat? Then tell me so-and-so sits in the back seat. You don't have to say they're sliding into the back seat, because unless they're constantly in this state of motion. In a movie, you're going to see them slide into the back seat. In a comic book, you're not necessarily going to see that unless the act of them getting into the car is important and not just the fact they're in the car.
Yeah, because they could be doing it like in Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
with a half a body.
I mean, then tell me that. Tell me that they're jumping through the open window.
Yeah.
You know, Dukes of Hazzard style. You know, that's what I want to see. Otherwise, that's why I said it feels almost like you wrote a screenplay and then you just broke up your action into these little paragraphs or by sentence and put them in an Excel table and then called it a comic book script without actually thinking about how will this scene translate to a comic book. And what I'd like to see is actually taking the time to think what is this panel going to look like? Think about what it looks like in your head and then write down what you see. And I think it might be a little bit clearer.
Can I jump off of that, actually? Because I remember a good example of that. Remember the page where she's like talking to the sushi asshole and like he gives her a hug?
Yeah.
And so the dialogue that's coming from Mitsuha is like, oh, I'm really tired. But it's all stacked onto the top of the page, and then there's a bunch of silent action when if that dialogue was in like the hug panel, like I'm so tired or whatever, right? You've got acting and the dialogue working in
Right.
tandem.
You're not
would,
visualizing the panels in the page as you would see them if you were reading the comic book. You're just reading a script like somebody wrote a script.
Right.
Yeah.
On the other hand, that probably means my constructive for this batch of the script is try and put some dialogue or something in all the panels that need it, where the acting goes along with what you're saying, because a lot of what the characters are saying fits into the acting somewhere, just not necessarily where you put it, which means a lot of your panels actually have more room for dialogue than you thought they did as well, especially outside of the action scenes. To that end, also, you have a lot of interrupted lines that just don't work the way you've laid them out. Like getting into the car, like you're putting someone into the back seat, then cut to everyone else in the front seat, and that's the follow-up to the interruption. That doesn't work. Too much time has passed.
Yeah, it's not like in a movie where they will be talking over each other in a chaotic scene. In a chaotic scene, in an action movie, characters are constantly talking over each other. This isn't going to translate the same way. So you're absolutely right. Like, cutting somebody off should be used when a character is specifically intentionally cutting somebody off.
And one of the things about comics that is really different from screenplays is between each panel is an inconsistent and barely determinable, though finite, span of time.
Yes.
And that's different from panel to panel. That's different as the storytelling demands it. That's different based on the size of the gutters. And it's different based on what the story does. And the page flips do something very similar. And so to keep the pace up, you have to think about how much time your reader spends looking at the panels on a page. And one of the ways to slow the reader down is to have dialogue. So if you're going to consider each page as a discrete unit, much in the same way you are currently considering each panel as a discrete unit, figure out if the pace is increasing, dialogue gets lesser, or decreasing over the course of this scene, dialogue gets greater, or stays high at a high level. The more words are on a page, the slower the reader's going to go through it before flipping to the next page. So that's something to sort of think about, is the reading experience that you're creating as a writer. But that's way advanced. And if we're working on the storytelling right now, I think this is still a huge step up.
There you go.
I hope that sort of bit of theory made sense.
I liked it.
Yeah, there we go. All right, I'll take it.
There you go. Savage, welcome to the show.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure my mic's all right.
Yeah. Did you hear the last script at all?
No, I was a little late, and I had to like fix my account up.
I understand. Okay. So I think we have icebergs. Larry?
Yeah.
Sure. Why don't you tell us about icebergs?
Did I tell you about icebergs? Okay. Well, we are in the middle of the story here.
Yes. Opening page 16.
Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah. So what's happened in the story so far? It started with internet famous comic book blogger John Bondongle dying of a heart attack in a very Citizen Kane type way at the beginning of the book there. Then we switch over to internet detective Tobias Ulysses Grumble, who gets a interesting package in his mailbox, which is a nuclear warhead, and that explodes, and he just happens to survive, and he gets a anonymous message saying that the two things are connected. So he takes off to the woods of New Jersey with his friend Zeke, and they are entering the Von Dongle mansion after being greeted by the made Cecily, which is a man in drag. So
There you go.
yeah. So that's where we are.
And I'm sure we're going to need some clarification for all the Von Dongle fans out there watching as to whether or not this portion of the script has anything to do with any recent Von Dongle related internet activity.
It may. Yeah.
The characters presented herein are fictitious. Any similarities to any actual persons, living or dead, are merely coincidental.
And if you think we're talking about people like you, we almost certainly are.
Yeah.
Sorry, who's Von Dongle?
What's that?
All right, page 16. We're going to need parts, Larry.
Okay. So on this page, we've got Cecily, Tobias, and Zeke. So we'll get Danny to read for Cecily, and you can read Tobias's part, Skinny, and Zeke, you can Preston for now. So
okay.
Then I'll assign any other parts that come up. I think it's just the 3 right now, though. So yeah.
And we have a narrator.
Narrate. Don, you want to take it again, or?
Sure, why not?
Okay, sure.
Page 16, panel 1. Same view as panel 1, page 1. Cecily leads the 2 men talking on the way toward John's streaming room where he was found dead.
Master John was in his writing room when he received the message from Mr. Piano. Many think that's what caused his heart failure. In actuality, it was started by a post shared to his Pecker page.
Panel 2, close up on Tobias as he questions Cecily.
I never saw such a post. What, was that Tobias?
Yeah, you're Tobias.
And which one was I? I forgot.
Sorry?
Which one am I?
You're Zeke. He doesn't
Zeke.
come up a little later.
I haven't seen Zeke yet. Okay.
Yeah.
I never saw such a post. Are you certain?
Panel 3, close up on Cecily from behind, now standing in front of the door to John's streaming room. She looks over her shoulder toward the 2 men behind her.
Oh, yes. He hit it, but it was too late. I was massaging his feet at the time. By the time he made it private, it had several hundred views.
Panel 4, same view as page 1, panel 3. The 3 men stand on the precipice of the doorway, silhouetted by the light from the hall that cuts into the dark room ahead. Cecily continues the story.
He started shaking and yelling after looking at who liked the post. He jumped off his armchair and started running through the house, destroying things, screaming "Et tu" over and over again. He must have received a message from Sean Piano during his fit of rage as it pushed him over the edge.
Page 17, panel 1.
Sorry, this voice is so hard. I just can't. I hope I'm doing this justice.
No, this is great. Yeah.
Okay.
Close up on Zeke as he asks a question.
Who the hell was this post about anyway?
Panel 2, wide shot. Cecily leans onto John's desk in the foreground, facing the viewer. Tobias and Zeke stand behind her in the doorway still, tears well in her eyes.
It was a video, a sex tape. John is jerking off 2 guys behind a pizza place while screaming, "There is no God," over and over.
Panel 3, close up on Tobias and Zeke from the waist up as they reel backwards in shock. Zeke covers his mouth like he's going to throw up.
That's not true. That's impossible. You're telling me ultra-Christian conservative and writer of hit songs like Daddy Can't Bless Us All and books like Frog Lord, Repentance is a God-hating fruitcake?
I'm going to be sick.
Panel 4, wide shot of Tobias pointing an accusatory finger towards Cecily, who is now facing them.
I assume you have receipts for this claim.
I do. But once you actually see it, you can't come back.
Panel 5, close up on Cecily's face. She looks down, wiping tears from her eyes.
There's one more thing, too, you should know.
Page 18, panel 1, close up on Tobias as exclaims.
Oh, God, what more could stand his memory? I beseech you, madam.
Panel 2, close up of Cecily's face as she screams out toward them.
I'm actually a man.
Panel 3, Close up on Tobias and Zeke. Close up. Tobias and Zeke look sideways at each other, faking surprise looks with a nervous twitch in their mouths.
How shocking.
You can't even tell.
Panel 4. Close up back on Cecily's face as she continues to blurt out and cry.
And I was one of the guys in the video.
Panel 5. Back to the close-up of Tobias and Zeke as they both make gagging expressions.
Oh, God, we have to burn every copy of that video.
I'm definitely going to be sick.
Page 19, panel 1. Close-up on Cecily's face. A piercing, serious expression washes over his tear-stained face.
I'm afraid that is impossible.
Panel 2. Close-up on Tobias as glares concerningly toward Cecily.
Why?
Panel 3. Close-up back on Cecily's face as he nervously smiles.
You see, it was uploaded to several fetish sites by me. Let's just say I did something with pineapple pizza in it, and I wanted bragging rights. Okay, I'm definitely nailing this. All right.
Panel 4. Wide shot. Tobias
If I
yells
knew
towards
anything
Cecily.
about the
Tobias yells towards Cecily, swiping his arm out to the side in a chop motion. Zeke is in the background running toward a trash can on the floor near the door. He's holding his hands over his mouth.
Sir, whatever. How could you? You know the man's reputation. How did you not think this wouldn't bite him in the scrotum?
That's it. Here comes breakfast.
Page 20, panel 1. Close up on Cecily, screaming and crying.
You don't understand. He wasn't a saint. He was awful. He wanted me to do this. He forced me.
Panel 2. A panel on the far wall next to the door swings open. Zeke is on the floor with his head buried in the trash can, being sick. Panel 3. Close up on the wall, a harpoon gun sticks out from the opening. Panel 4. A harpoon gun fires out from the gun. Panel 5. Close up. The harpoon grazes Tobias' left shoulder and continues forward. Panel 6. Close up. The harpoon impacts Cecily directly in the center of the chest. Page 21. Panel 1. Wide shot from above, looking down. Cecily is knocked backward across the desk, crashing its contents to the floor. Panel 2. Wide shot facing Cecily. Cecily is pinned to the bookshelf behind the desk. Books rain down around him from the impact. Panel 3. Tobias shoots his gaze toward the wall behind him as the panel clangs shut. Zeke looks up above him from his position on the floor in shock, his face still pale and sickly. Slam!
Sweet sassy molassie, what the hell is going on?
Page 22, panel 1. Wide shot of the bookcase. Cecily's body is still hanging from the harpoon. Before anyone can properly react, a two-door panel starts to slide open from above his position. Panel 2, close up on the opening as the monitor screen slides out and flickers on. Panel 3, the screen reveals an image of John Von Donkle's face, smiling creepily.
Oh, hi, boys.
Panel 4, Tobias and Zeke, now standing next to each other, stare up toward the screen in shock.
John?
I should have stayed in bed.
Page 23, panel 1. Wide shot from behind Tobias and Zeke. John's face leers over them on the screen, now looking deranged and insane. Below the screen, Cassidy's wound is now bleeding out as he remains pinned to the wall with the harpoon.
That's right, fools. It's me, still alive and still the #1 voice on Olive Pecker. Welcome to my stream, bitches. You're both getting canceled. Everyone is being canceled.
John, it's us, your friends. What the hell is going on?
I got a really bad feeling.
Panel 2, close up on John's eyes on the monitor, wide open, which widen his pupils, focusing to a point as he continues to rant.
You don't get it, do you, Tobias? None of us are really friends. Eventually, we will all blacklist each other. Like true icebergs, our intentions are hidden deep below the dark, black depths of the sea. I'm surfacing my secrets of becoming the blacklist made flesh. I lured you here and leaked the tape, faking my death, the attack on your mailbox, the anonymous tips, all of my doing.
Panel 3, close up, head and shoulders cropped. Tobias looks up in shock toward him. Zeke looks confused.
You've lost your damn mind.
I'm not following this plot line at all.
Page 24, panel 1.
I'm with Zeke.
Close up back to the back on the screen. John smiles ear to ear, his head tilted down, his eyes piercing forward toward the two men.
Now let the games begin. Time to join the others.
Panel 2, Tobias and Zeke look at each other and speak at the same time.
Others?
Yes.
Panel 3, the wall to the left of the two men cracks open, and a light and steam billow the opening. Panel 4, close up, back on John's face on the monitor.
Please move to the other room, gentlemen.
Panel 5, close up, head and shoulders on Tobias. He looks up at John, his arms and hands outstretched in open palm gesture of peace.
Can't we talk about all this?
Page 25, panel 1, close up, the panel on the wall behind the two men slides open again. Panel 2, same view, a large Gatling gun slides out of the opening. Panel 3, wide shot, the two men look over their shoulder toward the gun, their hands in the air. John replies.
No.
Panel 4, wide shot, the two men slowly backing into the opening on the side of the room with their hands up in the air. The gun turns to follow them. Panel 5, wide shot from behind the two men as they back fully into the bright room. The door starts to slide closed. Page 26.
How many pages are we going to?
There's like 2 more pages.
Two more. Okay, that's
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Page 26, splash page. Ultra wide shot. The two men have turned and look out toward the new room. A huge ornate dining hall lays before them with long dining table at its center and 14 seats. The 3 at the end closest to the two men are empty. 4 Gatling guns are mounted to the wall on each side of the hall, trained on the table. There's a huge monitor on the far side of the table over a roaring fireplace. John looks down on the room from it with a sinister grin. Artist note. Several new characters are introduced here. See separate document for physical descriptions. See, that's how you introduce a dozen characters all at one time. Captions over each new character in order, left side. Left side. Wearing closet to foreground to background. Empty chair. D.A. Stocks. Victoria Linnea. Kim Thomas. Peter Pansekuel. That comic lady. The Shack. Right side. Starting closest for the foreground to the background. Empty chair. Empty chair. Snow Pea. Paxton Poultry. Doogie Telapple. Lenny Wang. Cheetahs. Garth. A long Greek name. Page 27. Panel 1. Close up on John laughing maniacally on the monitor.
Take a seat, gentlemen.
Panel 2, close up on Tobias. A look of fear and concern wash over his face.
Sweet sassy molassy.
That's it.
That's it.
That was that for an ending.
I feel I'm an honorary Canadian for speaking that line.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, look, I gotta say, you know, your writing is better here. Like, I'm not seeing any passive voice at all. Like,
I was going to comment that same thing too. Like, it's nice to read a script with almost no passive voice.
Right.
I was actively trying not to.
And I noticed. And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was punchy. It was silly.
Yeah.
I thought I enjoyed it.
All right. Great.
Danny, I mean, we're very interested in your opinion.
Once again, I do not know the complete retards that you're mocking with this, and I am utterly unfamiliar with their retarded discourse.
Yes.
Yes.
So it still works.
Okay.
The dialogue's better. Like you've got. I remember we read part of the beginning of this a couple weeks ago, and the way the two detectives are actually reacting to everything is way more human. That was really nice. The Yep. The threat with the harpoon was really good. I wish Cecily got some last words. Like, and that page was already busy enough with all of the action as the harpoon comes out. So maybe extend that a bit more and just do like a murder scene splash page. It's probably worth it. And Cecily gets to reveal the scandal, right? And since you're not doing a flashback to it, which based on the fact that it's ridiculous and appropriately hilarious, you could have done this as a flashback with narration, right?
Mm-hmm.
And actually show that action with Cecily jerking people off behind a pizza shop or like whatever, right? You could have put that in the art direction, and you didn't.
Yeah.
So you've got to land it with Cecily's appearance and like facial expressions and stuff like that, which means actually Cecily's the important character there. So it is sort of an important turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got a great hook for, I don't know why you want to do this, but at issue 2, like, I don't know if the story deserves an issue 2 instead of just being like 48 pages to get on with your life.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Well,
like
27?
Yeah, like are people really going to buy an issue 2 of this, or do you need to nail it in one? And I would actually go for a longer thing and nail it in one. It seems like it's the kind of timely flash fiction that isn't worth a continuation.
Mm-hmm.
Although, given that there are certain people in this stream who have weekly videos about the retards who cause all this drama, maybe it is worth it. But I think people paying you money for that on the regular at a much slower production.
I was thinking 3
is less
issues,
likely.
So yeah, it would be like a 3 issue type of thing. So
do it as like an OGN, man.
Yeah. What does that mean, OGN?
Original graphic novel, not based on existing property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then there are probably enough people who are willing to shell $25 for this once who won't shell like $7 plus shipping 3 times.
Mm. It's not a bad idea, but yeah.
And you've definitely I'm like, there's an immediate drama that is its own story that it works as a through line from all of what I've read, although I'm not familiar with the beginning here. So it works as a story. Way to go.
Cool, thanks.
I just want to know what happened to the pineapple pizza.
Right? Cecily needs some last words. Hashtag give Cecily her last words.
Yeah. We don't want to know what happened to the pineapple.
Hashtag don't cancel Cecily.
At least have Cecily say like gazpacho soup or something.
Right?
Who doesn't like pineapple?
Pineapple on pizza is a Canadian invention. I like it.
Yeah, it's delicious, but
Go Canada.
I love pineapple pizza.
All right, Skinny, what do you got?
I really liked it. I mean, for me, all the jokes hit, and like Danny said, even if you don't know exactly who you're making fun of, it's still hilarious regardless. And that's the most important thing, is to not rely on inside jokes. They're good to have in there, and it's great. It adds more depth for people who are in the know, but I really like that all your jokes hit without having to have that information. Like, even the Gatling gun thing was really just goofy as hell. And I don't know, like...
It was the Gatling gun thing?
Is it on the casters? Does it have legs? What's going on with that?
Exactly. It just, like, comes over the wall. It's like,
Or does it just float around like Doom Guy?
Yeah, exactly.
But I really enjoyed it. I mean, it had a really good flow to it. I wasn't bored at all. And like I said, all the jokes hit. And jokes are really hard to do in comics.
They are.
They can fail really hard and just be cringy. Looking at you, DC.
All right.
Blue Beetle and Gold.
Savage, you got any thoughts on the script?
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with Skinny here that the jokes are pretty fun, and it's kind of nice that you didn't rely too much on like you said, inside jokes, because
Oh,
that
Big-
could shrink your reader base and stuff. Because people who don't know what's going on or what's he talking about.
yeah, the inside jokes are more in the middle part,
Yeah.
the car ride and stuff like that. Yeah, with the doxing app and whatnot. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, because doing inside jokes is
Yeah.
good if it's like inaccessible enough that some people can get a hint at what they're implying and stuff.
yeah. I was trying to keep it pretty open though, because I know you put too many inside jokes in, you're right. Like it just gets lost. So yeah.
Well, yeah, so it's a very interesting story, and it's always good having some comedy scripts. It's a fun read.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot lately, so like Moby hasn't been on much lately, so
No.
So, I mean, does Dominatrix count? Dominatrix count as a comedy?
Sort of, yeah.
I don't. Yeah. John.
John?
I'm going for lighthearted and fun. I wouldn't necessarily put it in comedy.
Okay.
But I mean, it has
fun
some comedic moments.
drama.
It's got wit like 80s action movies.
Yeah.
I guess my child endangerment project is supposed to be a comedy.
There
People
you go.
laughed, so I guess it was funny.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
still
don't know.
moving forward with it. So
Maybe it's the Marvel effect, but like when most people say lighthearted and fun, I don't know. There's always comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's. I guess when it's hard because I try not to make it too like when you're dealing with demons and sex demons, like you can get dark really easily.
Yes.
It's one of the reasons why I know Preston hates my demon character, but she doesn't have any strong motivations because honestly I couldn't come up with anything that wouldn't either go too far in one direction or the other. She's not the villain, so she can't be on a quest for world domination because she's not the villain. So but she's also not a hero because she's not out to help people because she's a demon. So it's
maybe she
like,
just wants to fuck everyone in the world.
Right. Yeah, that's her motivation.
Alphabetically.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's not a bad idea.
You're welcome.
I could work something like that.
Yeah.
All yours,
Yeah,
mother.
or you just go to Deadpool route where it's just there to cause chaos and do all that shit.
That's kind of what she did. That's kind of what it is. As I said.
Yeah, but she's fully integrated into the world in the way that Deadpool isn't.
All right. Fantasy Pirates.
Yay.
Pirates.
Yay.
Yay, pirates.
All right.
All right. Who wants to narrate?
I'm down.
All right, cool. And then I'm gonna need Foot. Who wants to be Foot?
What happened last time?
Last time, Foot. We ended here with the Ten of Swords. Foot came to the whorehouse, and there he finds the body of Catalina, all pinned to the bed with 10 swords in her back. And he goes, "Who could have done this?"
Okay, so Captain Morgan gets the head in his bed, goes on the chase, gets the amulet, hands off the quest to Foot. Now Foot's investigating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
Who wants to be Foot? Savage, be Foot. And
Okay.
John, be Amy.
All right.
All right, narrator, take us away.
Page 11, panel 1. Foot turns to Amy.
'Tis a horrible thing, Miss Amy. Thank God Governor Morgan already dispensed justice to the evil Irish bugger that done this.
Mickey's his name.
Panel 2. Foot watches as Amy spits in disgust. Panel 3. Amy communicates her misgivings to Foot.
He came in on La Carvel, arrived yesterday. The whole crowd must be nothing but trouble. Worry from a girl's foot. Never seen one slaughtered like that. And that circle they made with her blood, they be in league with the devil.
I, devil, and his antichrist, the Pope. I understand, Amy, the crew of the Le Carnival must face scrutiny.
Panel 4. Amy gives Foot a warm embrace.
Thank you, Bill. Do be safe about it.
Panel 5. The hot Jamaican sun hangs in the late morning sky of Port Royal. Morgan knocks on the door of a ramshackle local chapter of the Church of England. Behind him stand Foote, Ashley, and 3 other English men-at-arms.
Larry,
Knock,
you can
knock.
read Morgan.
Okay. Knock, knock. Vicar, me and me men need a blessing.
Page 12, panel 1. Having opened the church door for his guests, the vicar stands in the doorway surveying Morgan and company. In his mid-40s, he appears as scruffy as the other resident. The vicar, mid-40s, as scruffy as the other residents of Port Royal, stands in the doorway surveying Morgan and company.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Yes. Thank you. Skinny.
Morning, Governor. At my door on a Tuesday, are there men to be killed?
Quite possibly. Tell you inside.
Panel 2. Dressed in his vestments, but otherwise unwashed, the vicar stands behind the podium bearing the mark of the cross at the front of the church. Morgan, Foote, and the rest are seated in the congregation.
A pentagram drawn in the blood of a whore? This be a dark ritual indeed.
Killed by a God-fearing woman. Cut her head off. Threw it in me window. Devil's handiwork for sure.
Panel 3. The victor holds a medallion of Seatlali.
And this comes from an evil Indian civilization used to sacrifice people to the devil, cut out their hearts as a big spectacle.
Panel 4. The vicar sternly delivers the blessings of Christ.
Very well then, each of ye, it hereby forgive all sins by power of the Almighty God. His hand will guide ye as you bring about his justice. Root out those who worship his enemy, kill the heretics, so that the good ladies of this port might return to selling their bodies for plunder.
Amen. Amen.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
You haven't lost me yet.
Okay.
Panel 5. Handing the amulet back to Morgan, the victor shows Morgan and his men out the front door of the church.
I won't be going with you this time, boys. That's Captain Plug and his men you're looking to tangle with, and I want no part of that. But know that you go with the blessings of Christ Almighty.
Thank you much, Vicar.
Sorry, I'm writing a note about this so I can
Okay.
mention it later.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
All right.
Page 13, panel 1. Wearing the medallion around his neck, Morgan stands with Foote and the 3 other constables at the base of the tri-masted warship La Carnival, which sits on the docks of Port Royal in italics. They look up towards the ship sitting 8 meters over their head.
Ahoy, mateys. As governor, I require a bit of ye time.
Panel 2. Viewed from behind the figure of Captain Plug, whose name I still love, a menacing mountain of muscle in his early 30s. The lawbringer standing on the dock below him seems small and insignificant.
We need a Plug. John.
Governor Henry Morgan, what bring you?
Panel 3, inset. The medallion of Seatlali hangs from Morgan's neck.
Wait, where's me mate Mickey? What you done to him?
Panel 4. Morgan stands defiant.
He apparently got upset that I could love Catalina better than he could. He tossed her head through me bedroom window. I has him dead to rights. I demand he surrender. He chose not to and suffered the consequences.
Panel 5. Seen from the front, Plug stands, a menacing figure, at the head of the gangplank leading from the ship down to the dock. Around his neck rests the feathered headdress of Montezuma.
So you killed him, did ya? I don't know, boys.
Page 14, panel 1. 8 swarthy, sun-baked pirates of Western European descent draw their cutlass swords with murder in their eyes.
Do you think a washed-up old man like Morgan here could kill our man Mickey in a fair fight? Or do you think the coward went and shot him in the back?
Panel 2. View from Morgan's POV. Plug and his men look down on the viewer, about to pounce.
I saw we kill this coward and take back Mickey's necklace.
Panel 3. Captain Plug stands back in shock, blood gushing from a bullet wound to the chest. Bang.
Bang.
Panel 4. Smoke pours out of the barrel and flash pan of Morgan's musket as he lowers it from his shoulder.
Nobody calls me a coward.
Page 15. Panel 1. Series of panels, Plug's transformation. Teetering on falling over, Captain Plug looks at the blood on his hands and chest from his mortal wound from the lead ball.
I hold a Kale.
Panel 2, Plug's transformation continued. Plug stands more steady as the feathered headdress of Montezuma blossoms around his head. Glowing green tendrils extend from the peacock feathers and extend out like writhing tentacles. Green energy surrounds the closing bullet wound as blood vanishes from the surrounding skin.
Ah!
Panel 3, Plug's transformation continued. The headdress of Montezuma extends out from Plug's head. The ferocious peacock pirate captain revels in his invincibility. Panel 4. Morgan backs away from colorful rampage in stark terror.
Stand back, all of yas. They's the old devil.
Panel 5. Captain Plug's new bedazzled head leads his massive body down the gangplank towards... Is he like MODOK? I'm 100 down for something kind of like MODOK.
But I looked up how big that peacock headdress is of Montezuma. Yeah. It's massive, and I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, fair. Leads his massive body down the gangplank towards Morgan, Foot and company. All shoot at Plug, save for Morgan, whose faith is shattered. Bang! Bang! That's a good piratey cackle. Nice one. Yeah. Page 16, panel 1. Tendrils streaming from the peacock headdress of the approaching Captain Plug entangle Foot and Morgan as the others flee the scene.
He's got me, Foot.
He's got mine as well.
Was that a foot pun?
That was a foot pun.
I am
That's
behind
good,
that foot pun. Okay. Panel 2. Foot and Morgan struggle against the wispy arcane energies of the headdress as Plug advances with cutlass drawn.
Time to take painful vengeance for Mickey.
God have mercy.
Panel 3. Inset. A tendril's end forms into a sharp obsidian spear.
On me.
Panel 4. Foot steps in front of the obsidian spear as it darts for Morgan.
So.
Panel 5. The spear pierces Foot's chest and blood sprays out of the exit wound in his back.
Beloved friend.
Panel 6. Foot's blood splashes across the medallion of Sitlali hanging around Norgan's neck. Page 17. Panel 1. Green energy swirls out of the medallion as it activates, washing away the tendrils from Plug's headdress.
What's this then?
Panel 2. Suddenly freed from his opponent's magic, Morgan draws his cutlass and moves up the gangplank. Showing.
An opportunity for vengeance.
Panel 3. From above, Captain Plug crosses swords with Morgan on the narrow platform. Snakes form from the tendrils of Plug's headdress. They hiss and bite at Morgan, but are held back by the force of his amulet.
You fool! You've given me the high ground!
I feel like I've heard that line somewhere before.
Awesome.
Panel 4. From Plug's point of view, Morgan's head and torso show clear and center in his line of attack.
Now you die!
Page 18, panel 1. Morgan steps back and brings his cutlass up to block an incoming strike from Plug that would have taken Morgan's head off.
Ha!
Panel 2. Plug leers at Morgan as their swords remain crossed. Panel 3. Plug lunges forward and brings the point of his cutlass up towards Morgan's guts. Morgan retreats further.
Ah!
Panel 4. Sensing his impending victory, Plug's sadistic grin bears down on Morgan, who cowers back away from the sword thrust. Panel 5. As their swords tangle in a thrust and parry to one side, Plug kicks Morgan in the chest, straight down the center line.
Ha ha!
Oh.
Taking another note, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, page 19, panel 1. Morgan lies prone on the gangplank in front of a triumphant Plug who stands, sword at the ready, above Morgan, ready to take his life. Sammy, 20s dark hair, Winston, 40s blonde hair, and the crew of the carnival cheer on their captain.
Whoever wants to do Sammy.
Get him, Captain.
And Winston.
All hail Captain Plug.
There we go.
Panel 2, large. Plug makes himself as large a figure as possible. His arms and legs stretched to their length as he revels in the glory of the kill he's about to relish before his tribe of hooligans. Lying flat on his fack, which is apparently a body part, at the bottom of the gangplank, Morgan aims his flintlock pistol with his right hand held close to the hip. Close to his hip, sorry. Panel 3. The bullet from Morgan's smoking pistol flies through the head of Captain Plug. Bang!
Nice.
Page 20. Panel 1. The pirate crew scramble to ready their pistols as Morgan advances from the bottom of the gangplank towards the fallen Plug. Panel 2. The crew fire down on Morgan as he rushes up the gangplank with the body of his fallen opponent as a shield. Bang! Bang! Panel 3. Morgan huddles under Plug's massive corpse as bullets fly at him. His right hand removes the headdress from Plug's head. Bang! Panel 4. Huddled behind a wall of flesh, Morgan dons the headdress.
Ahalakali.
Page 21. Panel 1. Green tendrils of power flow from Morgan's head and amulet as he walks up the gangplank, ignoring the bullets fired by the pirate crew, which bounce off his aura. Bang! Panel 2. Sorry, so many bangs.
I know. There's a lot of bangs.
Having reached the deck of the ship, the blade of Morgan's cutlass effortlessly cleaves a crewman's body in two. The others cow in submission. Panel 3. Morgan stands over the separate corpse of his fallen foe.
So it should be separated.
Like he's been cut in half?
Yeah.
Okay. And spies the exposed internal organs. Panel 4. Morgan grabs for the heart from the open cavity. Let's go, bitches.
There we go.
Panel 5. Morgan stands in triumph as he presents the heart to the cowering crew.
Yeah, it should be that cowering crew. Right, yeah.
Page 22. Panel 1, splash page. Morgan holds forth his cutlass and accepts the worship of the lowly crewman. His crown of magical peacock feathers waves flamboyant shades of his victory.
Des medallion and headdress. Where did they come from?
Who was
We
Sammy?
raided a treasure galleon bound for Spain, found those in the captain's cabin, seemed to like trinkets worth a few pieces of 8, but things changed when we brought them aboard.
Changed how?
Well, the captain.
The captain cut out Billy's heart because he thought Billy might be making a play for the boat.
Page 23. Panel 1. Flashback. Life drains away from the body of Billy, who lies prone on the rear deck of La Carnival. Ropes extend from his arms and legs, anchoring him in place. Captain Plug stands over Billy, wearing the peacock headdress and holding forth Billy's bloody heart in his hands, which he presents to the crew.
And I had never seen anything like it.
Panel 2, flashback continued. Still adorned in full headdress, Plug traces an Aztec sign in blood on the chest of Mickey, which activates the medallion Mickey wears, causing it to glow. Sammy and Winston watch in amazement.
Once these things got a taste of the blood, they make whoever wore them more powerful.
Panel 3, flashback continued. Mickey and Plug confidently walk down the gangplank into Port Royal.
Wasn't about treasure after that. It was about rituals and followers and blood.
Panel 4. Taking a momentary break from groveling for their lives, Sammy and Winston look up to Morgan from the deck of the ship.
Well, looks like ye be working for me now, boys, and I've got a different plan in mind.
Panel 5. Morgan stands near the rail of the ship, looking out towards the open ocean.
Wonder how much these Indian artifacts the other ships are carrying.
Right?
That's it.
That's it.
That's good ending.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a through line,
Yeah.
so you're following it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you wrap
it's,
things up really nicely.
Yeah, it's like I like the theme you're going for. It's like the whole, legendary
Fantasy pirates?
artifacts that other ships are carrying. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like, I mean, I take it you got some inspiration from Pirates of the Caribbean since you have these magical artifacts like they do in those movies.
Well, again, the genre as it was assigned to me was fantasy pirates, so I'm pretty sure that he had Pirates of the Caribbean in mind when he was like, let's see, hello.
Hail, brothers, hail! It is I, the King of Comicsgate.
Hey, John, we just read a script with you. Oh, testify, get lost.
Oh,
Anyway.
hey, that was brother testify. Brother testify. Bring him back.
Cool. No. Anyway, what can I help you with, John?
I'm just saying hi.
Oh, okay. Hello. Cool. All right. Go ahead, Dan.
Sorry. So I just sort of had questions about, because I know you've been kind of pantsing this.
Mm-hmm.
The vicar, you should totally mention him not wanting to go way earlier.
Okay.
And then get on to the blessing. Although the end of the blessing was hilarious, so keep that with the horrors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like,
funny, yeah.
it's not clear what's going on until like later that maybe they were fine. They're looking to get blessed, but they don't really explain their quest at that point, and they probably should have done.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until the very end there was any mention of other ships that have other artifacts. So that's something worth foreshadowing, since that's going to be the ongoing story, is go collect the plot coupons.
So how would I foreshadow that earlier, you think? Because we go from the head to the killer to then the boat, and I feel like...
And maybe the vicar's heard something in confession while overhearing the parishioners or whatever.
Good idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
vicar-
maybe he says he's been seeing a lot of these
Hey,
things.
I
lately.
can't go with you. I've got to do mass tomorrow. I have a day job now. I'm not a pirate anymore. But here's what I heard, guys. Now let me bless you.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. The transformation is super cool. I really love how you wrote it. Probably requires some more panels.
Okay.
Just there were a few with like multiple verbs. So like it obviously you wrote it to be a multiple panel transformation scene. So give the artist a ton of leeway there.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's confusing art direction. It is confusing at the outset why both of the special effects were green.
I just
From
think of
the
the
medallion.
green, but yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because like up until they were both green, I thought they were like maybe opposing gods or whatever.
Okay.
But when you mention other artifacts at the end, I'm like, oh, it's clearly get a bunch of plot coupons, summon a god, kill the world. That's clearly the story. Whatever.
But if like the magic is coming out of the same culture, I mean, shouldn't it be the same color?
Well, not if they're opposed, because then it's confusing art.
Yeah, I like Danny's idea. If they had multiple gods, maybe they have their own color,
Okay.
and then they could be competing gods, like an Ares
In those
and Zeus
pantheons,
type
they're
of thing.
competing gods.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have a lot of gods.
And then there's like then there's the Mayan gods, then there's like Olmec gods, and there's like the other millions of years of like Mesoamerican history. If you want to go there, or make them collect all of them, summon the actual god. That's why they're all green, and actually the medallion controls everything. Those are your two options.
And then you also like, then you also want to like see like which god's theme works with that as well. You know, because each god has their own different domains and powers.
Okay.
Was slightly confused by the green magic creating literal obsidian.
Oh yeah.
although that could have just been like some missing words from the art direction. Creates a green effect that looks like an obsidian spear. Totally lands.
Or an emerald spear.
Wow.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I was sort of confused as to why Plug didn't react to Morgan's magic overpowering his giant Modoc headdress. If I had a magic headdress that made me invincible, I would be very troubled if it was instantaneously impotent.
Right.
In fact, most people are generally troubled by instantaneous impotence. And that might be a direction to go to, like, especially if you're going to flashback Plug after he's dead, which is never ideal, right? Here you kind of got to do it because you're giving exposition. Using the priest might be a way to move away from that a little bit. But if you've got like Plug's reaction there, like, oh, I thought I could do all these things. What is this other power you have? You know, like that kind of thing. And then he fights back with his normal abilities, which are still strong. It still works. But, you know, he's surprised by something instead of just being like, oh, well, if this doesn't work, now I'm just going to be a better swordsman than you. It's like, well, this didn't work. That's cool. I'm still a better swordsman than you. Let's go.
Okay.
Right? And then you give him that moment to compose himself, like the villain. So, sorry, this was a lot of like, I noticed it while I was reading it like aloud, so I just sort of went off to the side to take notes, and I know that was partially constructive and partially other things. But like, letting other people speak soon. Sorry, guys. It totally works. I like where you're going. You've got a direct line to sea adventure in issue 2, which is great. You've got some sort of collection plot, which is easy, which is always nice, and lets you just go to different locations and do different things in an episodic way, which is going to be way easier for you to pants. Good setup there. And I kind of like where this is going because you've got a bunch of asshole pirates being stuck in something that's way more complicated than they're expected to ever understand.
Yeah.
So you're going to expect them to be overwhelmed and to be asking lots of questions when you get to the complicated stuff. And so you're not going to have any trouble explaining it. And I really like that in the setup.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, John.
Which John? There's two Johns.
No, yeah, there are now two Johns.
There's King of Comics Gate John, and then you can. My pronouns are Sire and Your Majesty.
Very well. So we'll come back to Delarose. Lamont.
I liked that I think Danny kind of mentioned on this is that whereas last time I was a little confused as to what your through line was going to be, and having seen it come to conclusion, it does make a little bit more sense. I like the way that you kind of have things set up, whereas it kind of feels like it could be a one shot, or you could go places with it. It seems like it's very, the ending is very open to interpretation. So I think that works because I don't know if, I think the fate of this series is unknown at this point. So I think having it end the way that you did kind of leaves the reader's imagination going to, oh, this is interesting, and it kind of lets them go the journey in their own imagination. And I think
now I can buy more action figures in order to play this out in my head.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with John on this one, a hundo P.
Yeah, so I think that works. I like the I think it was definitely felt very fantasy and piratey, so that was very good. And I thought oh right, I was going to say, going back to the casual racism of the time, I really liked how you handled that and how the characters talk. I loved like the vicar and how he referred to like the guy.
The Pope is the Antichrist.
Yeah,
that was good.
That's contemporary to the time. I loved that.
Right. Yeah. There were just a lot of those little things that really felt like, I could totally see them saying this in this time. The way that the whore line was the other one that I really liked. he's like, let us all go back. His prayer, like, let us go all, let the hordes go back to, doing what you've left
your body
them
for plunder. Yeah.
Right. That was a really good line. So that was really cool. It kind of really felt in with the time, and I thought that was a really good creative way to work it.
Larry.
Yes. What I liked was you really ramped up the pirate stuff in this end part, which was good. Speaking on what other people were saying, where you're making this as like an introduction to a miniature game, you've got all the pieces now that you're going to go and collect while you're playing the game. Like, well, you don't actually have them, but you have the expectation of them, which is what you want to do in a setup. So this reads like a pack-in sort of thing that you would get with the game to introduce you to the world, and I think that's what you're going for, and I think it works really, really well for that. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Skinny.
I really enjoyed it for the most part. I also liked the vicar's speech, not just because I read it, but the whole bit about going back to selling their bodies. I don't know, that just felt really nice reading that. Like,
cool.
And everything else, like, I think it's a home run for the most part. But I would agree that there is that one instance where you could actually foreshadow that there's more items about with the vicar by just having him one line say, I've seen a few of these lately, or I've heard stories of these coming up. Because just out of nowhere, he's like, oh, there's a lot more of these out there. It's like, how do you know?
And Morgan started off way too confused about this stuff to know that there's more of them out there at this stage.
That's true.
Savage.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with most people here and stuff. I've always liked pirate stories, and fantasy pirates seems like even better because I love Wolf. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what you're going to go with this because I always like a good whole treasure hunt for magical items and stuff. And I kind of got I kind of sense that when you describe the tendrils, I kind of immediately think of H.P. Lovecraft with Cthulhu, just because that kind of rings to mind.
Right. All right, cool. Mr. Delarose, did you hear any of it?
Yeah, I came in a little late, but I tried to read the as much as I could there. Looks like you started on page 10, is that right? Or 11?
Yeah.
11, okay. 11, yeah. So I didn't get any of the background of it, but the back end is high action, and I think comics are for action. So you've got this paced pretty well, actually. So good work.
I did my best. Constructive notes. You got any constructive notes?
Not based on not knowing the beginning of the story, but yeah, I do appreciate the second half of the book being almost all swashbuckling action. That's good stuff.
I do my best.
So
the specs on this were fantasy pirates, so
nice.
Doing my best to just go fantasy pirates. All right, constructives. Anybody?
I mean, still needs a serious dialogue pass, but you already knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little confused on how a cutlass was able to cut a guy in half because I didn't think they were that sharp and stuff.
He had magic powers, but all right.
Okay.
What if Testify has something constructive?
Testify is not a writer. Testify is a troll. This is a writer's stream. I'm not going to let Testify on my writer's stream. I will let Testify on my troll streams, or I will go on his drama streams, but he's not going to come in on my writer's stream.
Womp womp, Testy.
All right, sorry, Testy.
It's like you're out.
But let's see. All right. John, was there something you wanted to say while you were here, or did you want to stay for the next script?
No, that's it. I was just checking. I was checking things out. I'll stay for the next script if you want me to.
Actually, before we move on, Preston, it might be worth while you're thinking about it, write some notes as to other episodes where this could go if it does succeed.
Okay.
Because that's going to help you with the foreshadowing and anything that you might be missing in this early stage as you set it all up. Get it in there now so you don't have to, try and shoehorn it in awkwardly later. And then that lets you, as you write future episodes, which will hopefully happen, lets you sort of focus on the episodic nature of what you could be doing with a plot coupon story and that kind of thing. Just introducing new miniatures, settings, characters, whatever. That's probably closer to your where the brief might keep you, right? So the more you have now for setup for tools that let you do that, the more efficient that's going to be later.
All right, cool. All right. As far as I can tell, Demonatrix is our only other story.
Woo!
Yep.
Is that it?
I think so.
I think.
Yeah.
All right,
I guess
John.
so.
Well, there was Mulby's, but you wanted him.
Mulby's not here.
Yeah, exactly.
He rewrite it. He didn't rewrite it. He needs to bring his work up to a certain level. You know.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
don't know.
guys.
I wanted more tornado snakes, man.
Yeah.
Tornado snakes are awesome, but like
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna have to bail. Just
Take care.
getting late.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
I'll
John,
have to see ya.
Delarose, do you want to be here for the Demonatrix? Because that's the one people are objecting to.
There's the one.
That's the one people are
I
objecting
mean,
to.
based on your username, obviously you need to be here for this.
Right.
Yeah,
You've kind of backed yourself in the corner on this one.
That's kind of interesting. I did not time this like this because,
I
I think John is actually in the chat right now.
I don't know. Do you guys want me to stay for this and give my feedback on this? I will leave it up to the chat. If you don't want me to leave my feedback on this, I won't. If you do want this, then I will.
Okay.
And I missed. I was scrolling back because I was trying to read your script real quick while they were talking.
Right.
I guess somebody wrote a script that was like all about me too. Like,
yes.
That's really beautiful.
Not all of it. I mean, it's
wow.
I feel like there's a fair amount of me in there.
Wow.
There's definitely some tug.
That's
I'm in there.
Yeah.
So you, John, is Cecily.
I feel honored.
Yeah.
So
I think it was my idea. All right. No, actually, I'm sorry to take it back. It was Larry's idea, but when I heard it, I'm like, that's brilliant. Which is, we have Citizen Kane, but instead of the Citizen Kane, we have a parody of you.
I am Citizen Kane.
Yeah, you're Citizen
nice.
Kane. I thought like the obsessive guy with the publishing empire who's eccentric but a genius.
I'll take it.
Driven by a quest. I think this troubled, stormy relationships. I feel like it kind of works.
I don't have any trouble stormy relationships though. I'm a human sunbeam.
There you go.
But
there you go. Let's see. And is this really Fly Fox Pro? Hold on. Hello,
John Lamont. You're
see.
Yeah.
No, that is not. No. Okay. I was
Sorry.
sure.
What just happened?
Oh, that was Testify. He's coming to troll, and he was posing as somebody else. So I let him in for like 2 seconds.
Oh, man, that was epic. Good work, Testify.
Anyway, yes. Whatever.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Wait, and just to clarify, this sort of behavior is discouraged, right?
What?
Holla.
Yeah.
I'm hollering out to my people in the chat.
Okay. Very well. All right, Danny, what were you saying?
I thought this was the writer's stream, and I'm
no. Yeah, well, that was where he was posing, but yeah. Anyway, all right. Demonatrix, where was I? So, John Delarose.
Yes.
You understand that I understood that that's what Testify was here for.
For what?
To yell.
I understand that you understood that that's what Testify was here for.
Right.
What am I supposed to? Why does what I understand matter?
Because look, the troll did the troll thing.
Well, this Comicsgate.
But this is the writer stream.
Yeah, the Comicsgate writer stream.
Okay.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Come back later. Okay, moving on. Demonatrix. What is bird?
I am very, very confused, and we just have questions.
People just coming on wanting drama.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting DMs to explain part of this to me because, I feel like my ignorance is now unhelpful.
All right, Demonatrix, where are we?
So we are picking up immediately where we left off. Emmy is visiting London in the hospital.
Right.
And that's so. And as a reminder, so when Emmy arrived in the hospital, London was talking with McCall or Michael. I got to figure out how to pronounce that properly, but it's Michael in Russian. So she was talking to Michael, and then Michael left, and then London talked to her, gave her fake ID, and that's where we picked up.
Okay. Who was narrator?
We gonna get some pages on the screen?
Oh, sorry.
Might need those.
Yeah. I mean, I can.
That would help.
I can see him. Hold on.
Preston, you got to answer your phone, man. He's calling you out.
He is?
Get those pages up.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
So we'll same usual writer, same usual readers.
You are not blacklisted. This is just this is for writers, and you and Testify are engaging in trolling. Speaking of, hold on, block user. Anyway, all right. So,
okay.
But I do love that he immediately goes to blacklisted everywhere. Okay.
Yes.
All right, narrator.
So, Larry, you're going to narrate for me.
Of course.
And then Preston, Danny, you guys can do Emmy and Lolita like usual.
Okay.
Skinny, you can do London, and I guess I'll do both the police. I'll do Jacobs and Patel.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
And then that'll be for this part, and then it'll change locations, and then there'll be new readers, and we'll go through that when we get there.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. Okay. Tap tap. Emmy and London look up to find Detective Jacobs and Patel standing by the doorway.
Hello, I'm Detective Edward Jacobs, and this is my partner, Detective Sonia Patel.
Shit, doesn't the city have more than 2 cops?
We'd like to ask you a few questions.
Everything will be okay.
That's Emmy's line.
Thank you.
Yeah, everything will be okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
If you'll excuse me.
Emmy nods to the detectives before making her exit. Patel walks up beside London.
Go ahead.
We were hoping you might be able to tell us what happened.
I'm not London, so.
Skinny?
Skinny. You're London.
Oh, sorry. Nothing really.
Nothing isn't how the doctors described your injuries to us.
I was at a party last night, okay? Things got a little rough, but it's nothing.
Patel gives London... sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Patel gives London a reassuring smile. There we go.
So you went to a party. Maybe you had a little too much to drink. Maybe you took a little something extra on the side. We don't care about that. We want the person who thinks it's okay to do to a person what happened to you. Otherwise, it could end up happening to someone else.
Outside London's room, Emmy leans against the wall, arms crossed, eavesdropping.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm not pressing charges, so you have no reason to be here, okay? Now please leave. I need my rest.
Emmy gets off the wall, heads down the hall to the stairs. Exterior, Triad Warehouse, night, moving. The warehouse in the Chinatown district, top floor. Dozens of women sitting behind sewing machines making knockoff clothes. Men with machine guns guarding the perimeter. Several officers walk along the back wall, past the offices. Door leads downstairs. Basement. A long table sees several technicians soldering together motherboards. Several teenagers sit behind terminals, hacking databases and networks. Several machines count through stacks of cash. A tech hands, is Huen? Or
I think it's Hung.
Hung, okay. Yeah, I was going to say that, but I wanted to make sure. Okay. Hung a tablet. He plugs the USB encryption key into the tablet, logs the cash counts, disconnects a key, handing the tablet back to the tech. Jesus, a lot of stuff. Yeah. Exterior, Triad Warehouse. Several black SUVs pull up outside. The Triad thugs exchange glances, but before they can react, a window slides down and gunfire bursts from within, killing them. Mikhail leading a group of Russian thugs, gets out, loading up automatic rifle. Top floor. Mikhail barges inside. Massive gun battle. Panic hits the women. Some duck for cover. Others race for the exit. Several of the Russian thugs fall, but they press forward relentlessly. More triads come from downstairs to defend. Basement. A grenade rolls down the steps. Kaboom! Glass and shrapnel fly through the basement. The triads take out a few more of Mikhail's thugs before falling back to Hung's office. Hung's office. The last of the triads fall as the Russians capture Hung. They hold him down in his desk chair as Mikhail enters. Hung curses at him in Chinese. Mikhail punches him hard in the gut.
Preston, be McCall.
Of all the girls at the party, you picked mine to destroy?
That's exactly why I wanted her.
Mikhail pulls the encryption key from Hung's pocket.
Is that me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Even if you hadn't, I'd still be right here, right now. Only now you have given us the perfect cover.
Hung struggles, but the Russians hold him firm.
I was told to end you quickly, but after looking in London's eyes this morning, this is more than professional now.
Mikhail waves to one of the Russians. They bring a bucket and a rag.
My grandfather was a guard at one of Stalin's gulags during the war. He used to tell us stories. Let's see if any of them were true.
Exterior Triad warehouse day. Several police cars now surrounding the area. Police tape secures the entrance. Jacobs and Patel arrive, greeted by Alvarez.
Skinny, why don't you do Jacobs?
What do we got?
Let me show you.
Top floor. Alvarez leads Jacobs and Patel through the top floor as CSI agents tag items, take photographs. Hung's office. Cameras flash. Excuse me. Alvarez leads Jacobs and Patel into the office.
I hope you skipped breakfast.
Hung's corpse sits back in the chair, his face frozen in agony. Dried vomit stains his mouth and shirt. His wrists and arms are shredded as he struggled against the metal wires that tied him to the chair.
Oh, Jesus.
First Zhao Long, now his son.
There's going to be a war.
Interior Hospital, London's room. Day. Emmy enters the room, tapping on the door. London waves her in.
I wanted to check on you, see how you're doing.
Actually, I'm glad you're here. I need a huge favor.
Name it.
I don't know you. You're not from my world, and that means you're the only person I can trust.
London slides open the side drawer, takes out the USB encryption key, and hands it to Emmy.
What is this?
My boyfriend calls it an encryption key. Says if anyone knows he or I have it, then they'll come after us.
You should give it to the police.
I can't. It's one of 3, and it's worthless without the other 2. My boyfriend is trying to get them, but I don't want him to. That's why I'm giving it to you. I'm going to tell him I lost it so he forgets about this whole thing and everything will go back to the way it was.
I don't think anyone will go back to the way it was for you.
It will. It has to. He's just upset because of what happened. But I'm fine. He'll be fine. It'll all be fine. Please.
Okay, I'll do it.
Emmy takes the USB encryption key. She holds London's hand, staying a little longer. To be continued.
Apparently right here.
Yes.
Just a little background. So when I wrote this, each episode is supposed to be about a month apart.
Okay.
So episode 4 is basically a month from the last where the other one ended. It's basically 4 months from when Emmy was arrested for summoning Lolita. So just to keep the timing, that's basically the way I wrote it. Okay, we can continue.
Okay. Episode 4, El Dominio e la Nina.
If you really want to know, I'll let John on when we're done reading the script. He can give his notes.
Okay.
Interior
Hospital, London's room. Day. London, dressed in her street clothes, packs some personal items into a small bag. Mikhail enters, kisses her on the cheek.
Ready to go, babe?
Yes, I can't wait to shower in my own bathroom and sleep in my own bed.
Got everything?
London scans her bag's contents.
I think so.
You still have it?
Um.
London feels through the bag.
Oh, it's in the side drawer.
Mikhail walks to the side table by the hospital bed, searches through the drawers.
I don't see it.
London bites her lip.
Really? That's where I put it.
Mikhail panics, looks under the bed, behind the table. He goes through London's bag.
Did you pack it already?
Maybe.
Mikhail tosses London's bag, searching frantically.
Baby?
Did you put it somewhere? It has to be here.
Maybe they picked it up when they were cleaning.
Maybe. Maybe. Do you know how important that was? It was our ticket out of here.
Shh. There'll be other chances.
Not like this.
Mikhail pauses.
Lost and found. I'll be right back.
Exterior, Nadia's ballet studio day. A group of students ages 4 to 40 exit the studio. Emmy waves goodbye to Nadia. Exterior street, taco cart. Juan hands off some tacos to a customer as Emmy approaches.
Buenas tardes, señorita Emmy.
Buenos tardes.
2 chicken with cilantro lime.
You remembered.
Juan fixes up the tacos, hands them to Emmy. She drops some cash into a plastic jar.
Keep the change.
Gracias. See you tomorrow.
Keep making amazing tacos, and you will.
Emmy walks down the street eating her tacos.
Does Marco know about you and Juan?
There is nothing going on between me and Juan besides these amazing tacos.
You're a Latin heartbreaker, girl.
Ay, para eso, aparte.
Emmy looks back at several Latin teenage punks with bandanas covering their face surround and harass Juan. One grabs his jar of cash as another knocks over his taco cart. Juan grabs one of them as another sucker punches him in the back of the head. Emmy runs back to him.
Hey, get off him.
The punks spot Emmy coming to them. One of them pulls out a golden pistol. Emmy freezes, staring him down. The other punks take off.
Skinny, you want to be my punk?
George Vamonos.
Nice.
Punk holsters. Yeah, I think Mulvey's in the back room there too.
Yeah. Hold. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Mulvey.
Pedophile Lamont! Pedophile Lamont! Pedophile Lamont! Pedophile.
I don't think that's him.
No, that's not him.
Nope.
Sorry.
That's not him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I can't.
Hey,
Oh,
John,
man.
that was really fucking funny.
Holy crap, that was really funny.
That
I
was
did not.
really
I
funny.
didn't do that.
Yeah. Go away. Don't come back.
All right. So, sorry. Punk holsters the gun, follows after the others. Emmy reaches Juan, helps him back to his feet.
Anyway.
Emmy.
We're on your line, Preston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to call an ambulance?
Not that one. I think it's we're on. Hey, are you okay?
Are you
I think
Hey,
we were
are you
all
okay?
just distracted briefly.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Something happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
what it was.
Something really, really stupid happened,
Yeah.
organized by a bunch of really, really stupid people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Juan?
Oh, wait. Stu, did you like that? Was that good? I hope you got what you wanted, Stu. Because, you know, you are a customer.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Where are we?
I think
Juan,
we're here. Juan.
No. Yeah.
Emmy and Juan here.
No, the line up at the top. You said, hey, are you okay?
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
See, I think so.
As Juan stands, Emmy notices he's bleeding.
Do you want me to call an ambulance?
No, that won't be necessary. Gracias.
Emmy and Juan pick up the taco cart off the street, set it upright. Juan inspects it, shuts off the gas. Emmy stares at the spilled food on the pavement.
Failing to do the voice right now because I'm still distracted. That top
Yeah.
part is probably still good.
I think it's all the tacos I'm going to be making today.
We should probably call the police or something.
It's no big deal. Gracias, Sammy.
Anytime.
Juan pushes his cart down the street. Sadly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hey.
There's no sex in our sex story.
Oh my God! It's almost like it's just a. Yeah.
I know.
Need more cowbell.
Right.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Right.
And
too much
true,
story.
John. You came in here and you lied to me. You came in here. You said, "Oh, why don't you put Testify on? He's not a writer," and then you laughed about it. Why? Because that's what you do, John. Anyway, so you were
get rid of the drama from ready.
Honest. You can never just like, hey, maybe people are gonna read scripts. Hold on, I have to come in and be dramatic.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So notes. Well,
no.
Think lack of sex in my sex story. It's always hard when we go from the end of one comic to the beginning of another.
Yeah,
that is true. It is true.
So, but all right. All right. So end of 3. I don't know. I felt it was okay. Yeah. And then 4, we got Miguel. He was doing stuff. We got some Russian mobsters. I'm not real sure on who London is, but I'll probably wait for constructives on that one. But anyway, that's what I
got. Pacing was pretty good.
Right.
The shootout was really, really well paced and interesting, and the scene changes worked really well. How they were fighting down through the different levels of the building. I liked that quite a bit.
Good.
Yeah.
I like the additional of dialogue as it slows down, like what Danny was talking about when we were talking about, I think, Mario's script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that the action's kind of tapering off just for the time being, it was nice to have a little bit more dialogue and kind of exposition. It fleshed out your characters a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. The timing of the action scene was solid. The introduction of a plot for Emmy was nice and worked. And then the introduction in chapter 4, was it, John?
Yeah.
Of Emmy having something to freaking do. Because like I literally wrote a note for myself, like, is she literally just going off dancing as the world burns? Turns out no. Right. So way to go. Yeah. She has something to do, and she's doing things proactively. So that was super cool. So that's a good way to introduce Emmy as like the bleeding heart character, which you need to do early on in a new chapter of the story anyways.
Larry.
Yeah, you want the critical stuff?
Oh, Skinny.
Yeah.
I really got nothing this time. I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part. It was a fun read.
Yeah.
Maybe more sex.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't contain the action by which people would be tuning in.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's okay.
That could be a beginning of chapter 4 problem, not an end of chapter 3 problem, though.
That's right.
Yeah. The chapter 3 is kind of pretty much just wrapping up all of the miscellaneous plots, and chapter 3 had Lolita sucking a guy to death. So
yeah, we had a lot at the beginning. So yeah. Yeah.
All right. Constructives.
Okay. Couple things that I noticed. There were a few panels that need to be broken up a little bit for action, but I think that's one major thing I noticed, especially one near the beginning there. It was like the workroom or whatever. There was like so much going on in the same panel. Yeah. And I still don't really get that the cops are all that much of a threat for some reason. Like, they do show up and they question and whatnot, but they don't really oppose Lolita any, and they're kind of like after her. So I'm still not getting a lot of dread from that. But
okay.
Yeah. that's my major constructive there. But anyway,
That it?
yeah, that's it for me.
All right. I think we made it through another one.
Yeah.
I mean, we've survived another one.
We survived another one.
I've got some constructives. That's all right.
Okay.
I know we're running
late.
Yeah. Okay, so John, you know how in films it's always more boring to shoot a fast car coming towards the camera than moving away from the camera?
Yeah.
You kind of did that with the warehouse scene, which is not to say that it didn't work, because it totally worked. But you spend a really long, large quantity of script establishing what the scene is, and then break it with the Russian mobsters, who aren't really a looming threat for most of that establishment. I think it would have been really interesting to introduce a room, show what's happening, then break it as the Russians move through the warehouse to each of these scenes, and show them interrupting the normal business instead of having the normal business then the fighting. If that makes sense, like bring the action like right into those introductions.
It's an interesting idea.
Well, when they show up, all hell breaks loose. So the normal course of action is no longer going to be taking place in anywhere in the building.
So it's not like a super secure, like each room can't really hear a warehouse. I did like what you're doing with the continuous shot there. So like,
yeah, it was that's what a moving shot is. It's basically supposed to be, we start here and the camera basically moves throughout the entire building, and then we basically work our way outdoors where the Russians show up, then they bring hell with them, and then we kind of go back through the building. And again, these sides are supposed to be at quote unquote peace. So this is all is kind of a surprise. Because remember, in the beginning of 3,
yeah, there was like the big like gang
powwow thing, and now this is not kosher based on how things are supposed to be on their side. So,
I think there's a degree to which you can rely on comics being comics and like page turns being page turns and still get away with that.
I'm not exactly sure how I will translate that to panels and pages yet.
Yeah. That's fair. So that's like a worth consideration note.
Yeah.
Loved the cut to the police, by the way, for to not show the actual torture. Good on ya. You're keeping the sex, removing the torture. That's always good. And that landed hella well.
Torture's dark, man. That's why when I say I want to keep it light and fun, that's where it's like, okay, so I got to do a torture scene. Yeah, we're going to cut that.
Yeah. No, I'm totally serious. That landed hella well. That was a good cut. Keep that cut no matter what you do. That introduces the police as some people who matter for some of the stories, so that's really good.
Right.
My other constructive really was Lolita disappears for the last 8 pages of chapter 3. You had a great interesting moment at the end of chapter 3 though, which could have been a good opportunity to do a character building thing for Lolita, like when Emmy grabs the USB key. That's something Lolita could have participated in. Lolita makes a decision to save her prostitute peer.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have this complete separation of Emmy and Lolita in that last scene either way. But like certainly if I were your editor, I would say, well, okay, integrate Lolita, just have her say the last line. But since I'm not, I think it would be helpful to have Lolita have some way to participate in that sort of conversation, because it's long and you've got a few opportunities for it.
Okay, I'll think about that. I'll think about where she's supposed to be in that scene, if she's what she's doing.
Yeah, because like the version of this where like Lolita picks it up and is like, I'm going to do something for this person who I saw something bad happen to, like totally works, but that might not be the story you're trying to tell. So that's why I'm being a bit I guess
she doesn't really care about other people.
But I mean, now might be a good time to start. Sort of unrelated to, I'm just saying, it's chapter 3. unrelated to those two things, in some of the constructives on previous passages that you've shared, didn't someone say something about angel cops?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
what I
haven't
was
seen those
saying.
Where the hell are
in a while.
they?
Yeah. I said that a while ago.
Yeah.
You did.
And I remembered.
So the problem that I have with the angels is that they're kind of overpowered, and I don't know exactly
I feel like you as the writer could fix that problem.
And they're so I didn't really know how to continue to have them in the scene and confronting our heroes, and our heroes completely getting away without making the angels feel completely impotent, because I've got really cool angel demon stuff saved up for the end of, for 9 and 10 is going to be all angel all the time. And it's leading up to a big, massive climax thing. And my concern is that will lose emphasis. It'll lose power if we've seen the angels tracking them down and they constantly escape. Or if we see them.
Then. If a demon like Lolita can inhabit a human for some period of time, why can't an angel? And isn't that a good, follow-up question, isn't that a good thing to do with those police officers who keep hovering around?
Well, the police officers are after Emmy. The angels are after Lolita.
Okay.
And
so the angels, you don't want the angels sort of taking over the police and being like, oh, and then eventually being like having to encounter Lolita that way. Alternatively, Jorge.
No, Jorge has he's got a whole subplot.
Cool. So you've clearly worked this out, but
there's
supposed to be angels somewhere, from what I remember.
The angels are right now. They're just kind of looming in the distance, unless I can figure out what I want to do with them. The police are going to have more scenes, and I'm going to be building their characters up a little bit. Jorge is we'll say the client of episode 4 that is going to get help from
that
Emmy and Lolita. That's kind of where I'm setting him up for. So, and his plot is going to be tied into the overarching gangster plot that I'm working on. So I've got a couple different subplots that are all kind of working themselves out.
If the angels aren't really a thing for quite a while,
currently they are not going to be a thing for quite a while.
Then since they've been, and again, I didn't actually like read this stuff. Like I've just sort of heard about it in the constructives. Do they need to be in the story at all?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I mean, because you tease us with this cool element that you then take away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Like angel, wait for it. Like it works only if someone knows there's an it coming. And you could do that with the angels, like, oh, well, we need to do stuff. Let's go have a meeting. It'll only take about 3 years because everyone has to follow procedure. Even that is enough.
Yeah.
Or someone decides to become a fallen angel and then takes matters in their own hands, or like something like that. You've got like all those cop tropes that you're already touching on by doing a crime story can work with the angels.
That's why I have an angel going murderizing people with broom handles.
Yeah,
I'm setting all of this stuff up in motion. The problem just is that I feel like that once the angels go on this path, the story's going to end, and I don't want it to end yet. So because I had to put the angels kind of on a back burner, that's when I created this whole gangster subplot to kind of carry us through the middle.
I definitely feel like if the angels are looking for Lolita and only observe Emmy, you can sort of bait and switch them while still showing that they're around.
Well, they're supposed to have this magical ability that they can sense evil. So if they're in proximity, they can sense them.
Well, you could tone them down.
Emmy's not evil.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm suggesting. Maybe Emmy's doing something else for Lolita and hiding her evil aura when Lolita doesn't manifest.
Or you've got to figure out some sort of physical weakness or something, like maybe they can't see through like lead or something.
They're allergic to crosses. Who
Yeah,
like
or
they're
whatever,
scary.
yeah, like,
That's why
yeah.
people go
Yeah,
to church.
Yeah.
They're
It's-
allergic to crosses. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Um,
There's got to be something that depowers them a little bit, because when you bring
Right.
the religious element, or
Yeah,
like
you
the
have
divine
basically
element into
introduced
it,
characters that are
Yeah.
capable of destroying your main characters,
Yeah.
that are capable of finding your main characters, and then you're like, oh, that's a problem. I'll just put them over here in the plot hole. And
oh, yo. Okay, have you ever played Resident Evil 3?
Yeah.
So,
Many times.
so maybe the rogue angel is like Nemesis, and just have him just show him showing up to like where London was and being like stars.
Well, see, I thought about, and honestly, and maybe if it's really, really necessary, I thought about doing one of those things where toward the end of every episode, the angels would show up at some random location where the characters were, and like, drat, we missed them. But
Yeah.
when I wrote it, the stories are already 30 plus pages, and I kind of felt like the episodes were already too long, and I didn't want to draw out the story but that was one idea that I had, where they were constantly showing up in the different locations where the characters were previously.
I mean, I'm inclined to agree with your assessment of this one, but like, and I am going to go back to spitballing the cops, because they're the easiest characters who are currently non-threatening. So it fits in naturally. Like, who's this Emmy girl? Man, she goes to church all the time. But like, I keep seeing her around all this weird stuff. Okay, well, we'll deal with it. Oh shit, now we have to go deal with this gang war. And then Lolita comes out and they're like, oh no, we miss Lolita. Like, that still works. Right? Like, if Emmy can somehow hide Lolita's evilness. Maybe sense evil is like this global sense evil is a bit overpowered, because if they're already,
it's not a global sense evil. It's when they're in close proximity.
I mean, so
I feel like
when Lolita is trying to fuck one to death, close proximity.
Yeah.
Well, like,
yeah.
So like in the first one, where the angel and Lolita are fighting, and then she basically knocks him into the subway and then escapes.
Yeah.
Basically, she creates enough distance between herself and the angel that the angel can't sense her anymore.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was establishing, is that once they get that distance, she loses sight. It's why, like, in the second one, Lolita is able to get Emmy out of the hospital because the angel is distracted with the janitor.
Okay. So that's your plot there. So they're surrounded by evil people. So maybe all of the evil dulls their like hound sense, right? So
that's one of the reasons why Lolita likes to hang out with criminals.
Yeah. So work it in.
Yeah. So have Lolita say that, which probably she already has.
Well, I don't think she has, actually.
I don't think she hasn't said it specifically, but like
so like Lolita
more
with
to Larry, because he has like, issue 1. But like the whole middle part of issue 1, when Lolita's hanging out with the gangsters, it's because she can mask her evil with their evil, so the angels can't actually train them, because the angels aren't supposed to interfere with human. They're not supposed to interfere with human activities unless they're given an order to do so.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I kind of have some rules in place for the universe, even though they're not all, spelled out in a rule book.
I mean, it sounds a lot like the agents in the Matrix, which really works.
That is exactly who I'm basing them on. The angels are the agents in the Matrix.
So
that is exactly who they're based on. They are very powerful. When you run into an agent in the Matrix, you do not fight them, you run. That is exactly what they do.
So like it sort of works if like reasonable touch range, like 5 feet max, for like there's an evil thing there. That still gives Emmy and Lolita some close calls. Yo, stay away from police. They tend to be those other guys. No, I'm not going to tell you why. Then later on, Lolita says, no, look, I'm running from angels. I'm not that bad. They're going to murder me, you, and the whole city if they see me. So we need to not be around these people. And then they keep being forced to be in the same room or the next room over. Right? Like, Oh, good thing you left the room before the cops got here. Whew, that was a close one. Now let's listen in. It's dangerous, but
and
right,
actually,
and that adds that ongoing tension. If we, as the reader, know something that the characters don't, that's always good.
Yeah,
in a situation like that,
you can actually build on the foreshadowing you had with the one angel there that killed the janitor, and have her just going off randomly through the different episodes, killing other people who sees a lot of evil intent in as she goes looking for Lolita, because that builds on her probably eventually going rogue or whatever. So I'm guessing
that's basically exactly what she does.
Yeah. Okay.
That is exactly her story arc. It's just one of those things too where I don't want her to go overboard too quickly. You know.
That makes
because
sense.
If she goes overboard too quickly, then the angels will come after her because she's not allowed. They're not allowed to interfere with the affairs of humans.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where it's like I did come up with these ideas, and I'm thinking about writing a scene in 2 where the one angel basically chews her out for taking out the janitor. So I could probably use that to set up some of the angel human rules that might help with some of this. Like if he says things like, we do not interfere with humans, we do not do these types of things.
Definitely.
So then also when she goes off the reservation, we know that she's going off the reservation. So
that's definitely good to establish. And then likewise, if you do have the angels running around in human bodies like Lolita can do, and I'm saying like Lolita can do because you've already established that Lolita can do it, so why couldn't anyone else?
They can, but they don't have to because they have a magical artifact that.
Sure, but they could.
Yeah,
that lets them have human form and therefore talk about it in other scenes, even if it's somewhat random. When angels have human forms, like, oh, have you seen Lolita? Nope. All right, I'm gonna go check the east side of town. I'm gonna go to Skid Row. I hate that place. Like, whatever. Angels just bitching about it is that's a bit more Terry Pratchett, I think, than The Matrix. But like they still have a job to do, right? So cutting back to them every so often.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's just trying to figure out how to do it, keep it interesting without it becoming repetitive or mundane. You know.
That's obviously hard to do. If waiting until episode 9 before there's explosive angel action is, I think, going to make it like it'll work in a graphic novel, it'll work in a film. It'll like I've seen like miniseries that do it. What was it? The Warrior Nun miniseries.
Yeah.
Kind of did that, and I was really angry at it because it established a perfectly good Ghostbusters thing it never actually paid off on. And I hadn't read that comic either, right? So like I was just relying on the show, and it was like, oh, let's do this one thing. Oh, and there's these 2 different kinds of horrifying demons. Oh, and now it's just the one kind of horrifying demon all the time. It's the worst one all the time, obviously. It was just like, come on, man, like give me the thing that I signed up for. So you've got to remind people they did sign up for angels fighting.
So yeah, I think that's the problem, because you're writing it as a series, as in if it's like a TV series. So in a TV series you have your pilot, and then you have like some filler episodes, and then you have like your mid-season, which is like the big episode where a bunch of stuff happens, and then you have a couple more filler episodes, and then you have your season finale. So that's always how they work, but
it works way less well at like, multiple months in between.
Yeah.
Unless you're expecting your reader to reread all the old stuff for every new issue, which is fine, right? Reading isn't that hard. And it's definitely going to work in the graphic novel. But you've got to maintain interest before you get to that point, so you can afford to publish it as the collected edition at the end. If that makes sense.
I don't know if I'm going to do that, given that it's 10. The season 1 is basically 10 issues.
That's fair.
So that's going to be a lot, and if they're all like the first one is 36 pages, so if they're all going to be between 36 and probably 42 pages each, I have no intention of putting these all together into a single volume.
It's gonna look like one of Marvel books like this.
I'm perfectly content to leave them in issues.
Yeah.
We'll see what my fans want. I'll give my fans what they want, of course.
I mean, based on what we've heard in this stream, clearly they want more pedophilia.
I would also put a $100 bill in every comic.
There you
Sorry.
go.
Question: Was that the right kind of joke?
No, it's just, that was good. That was good.
All right.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comics game is such bullshit.
It is.
Those guys. Why?
And
why are racists giving John shit or giving question shit over John?
Right.
Like, dude.
Well,
dude,
even if we don't apply a label to them beyond their actions, they're really just they spend a lot of time attacking people who are actually creating or providing, and I find it like a despicable practice, and it's certainly against helping or fostering any kind of environment of indie comics if you just make these creators jump through all these gauntlets of getting doxxed, of getting harassed, and like, who needs that?
Literally nobody. But they clearly need more pedophilia in their lives.
Yes, exactly.
That's obviously what they are desperate for,
right?
And that thirst is obvious. They are thirsty for pedophilia. That's why they keep talking about it. Right?
There's plenty of it out there. They are welcome to go look for it on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
God.
Anyway.
Sorry, that digression aside, I think...
And there are people out there that actually use the software that I use to make despicable things of people that are definitely underage, and they are more than welcome to hunt those people down and harass the hell out of them.
Yeah. I mean, let's go after...
They are out there.
They're probably a short Google away, but I think that's really complicated. You need to be able to spell.
Yeah.
And spelling is really hard. So no wonder they're not. But like, yeah, if you're doing like really well, like encapsulated episodes that have a moral arc around the Emmy and Lolita relationship and what affects them, no matter how good your B plot is, and this gangster B plot is really good, especially the way you've established it, that's still your B plot.
Yes, it's a B plot. Yeah.
So you do have to, like, you wrap up your B plot before you wrap up your A plot. You did that reasonably well here, but if your A plot includes angels, then that's clearly missing.
Yeah, I will definitely I will definitely be trying to figure out how I can work some of that in, at least, even if it's, I think it was one of you guys mentioned, like, when I was writing the Lolita cooking her dinner thing, making a few lines. So I have a few ideas, so it might be just a dialogue line here or there, sprinkled into the different episodes, and just see where I can go with that to kind of keep the hook baited.
Or even like, someone like London being like, "Oh, thanks for helping out with this. You're such an angel," and then Lila being like, "Don't call me that." Like even stuff like that still reminds you that the word has meaning. Much like there was some other story we were talking about, like an angel and like the word fall being important. And I don't think it was any of ours who are here right now.
Well, that was probably mine, actually. But
yeah,
there was like an angel
Larry's doing a fallen angel
or something like that, right? And it was like, and I was like, you gotta be really careful using the word fall around angels. Pretty much anytime you're writing about angels after John Milton, which definitely includes now. And so like even little stuff like that, where it sort of becomes like a character thing or a tick, you still remind people that there is some significance to those words and that stuff in this universe, and that there are literal consequences that include those literal beings. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So yeah, that got really long and very interrogative. So sorry about that, John. I was trying to get as much as I could.
No, it's all good. It's all good stuff. It's something that I'm going to have to keep in mind. As I said, I got to keep the hook baited for 6 episodes.
Awesome.
Because 4 out of 10 are all angels. So I got 6 in the middle that don't have any angels in them. So yeah, I got to figure out a way to keep the audience hooked for it so that they come back. And Otherwise, 1, 2, 9, and 10 are going to be my more popular.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just bait that hook and then get better at it. Eventually, you'll become a master. There we go. There we go.
There we go. All right.
There we got it.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I think those are all the scripts.
Okay, a little slow. Sorry about that.
Masturbator. There you
Right,
go.
exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a useful
That's good. I liked it. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
I'm just slow.
It's getting really late. Don't worry about it.
It is. I think we're out of scripts, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
this real Moby didn't show up.
Yeah, the real Moby did not show up.
Yeah.
And he needs to rewrite.
Yeah, he's still got some work to do on that.
He's being stubborn.
He is.
Yeah. All right. Well, an exciting stream as always.
More exciting than usual.
So sorry about the hecklers.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but
yeah,
I'm sure they're going crazy in the chat right now, aren't they?
Well, we have. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
So Larry Higgins stopping in, but yeah, there we go. All right, I'll put this up on the archive channel, and I'm pretty excited about the notes.
I think you might need to do some editing first.
Let's just go into the episode or nah. I mean, it was kind of funny. But
like, I'll put it up as is.
It's just a note.
Yeah, I'll put it up as is. But so I'm definitely going to go back and listen to the notes on that they gave me on the pirate story before I submit that. So, but I plan to submit that in the next couple of days. So,
fun.
Yeah. All right, well, let me know if you want to assist on the dialogue.
Oh yeah, actually, okay, that would be great. Okay, I'll send you a message. Yeah, that would be cool.
I already sent you one to explain to me some of this Comicsgate bullshit back.
It's a long.
There's a lot.
Oh my god! Yeah,
and obviously, like I'm familiar
enough. You have to read it in volumes.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the best part. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because these people are below my attention.
They are.
It's like
volume 1, The Age of Your Boy.
Yeah. It's like reading the Silmarillion to the end of Lord of the Rings in one go.
Yeah, I have better things to do in my life than to read bad racist Silmarillion.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll see everyone next week. It's been Press Repulse with Pocket Jacks Comics. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
everybody.
Good night.